boys and girls. In reading today, we are going to focus again on suffixes. Suffixes. That's such a fun word to say. Try saying it a few times. Suffixes, suffixes, suffixes. Eventually your tongue's going to get all twisted up. But it's pretty fun to say at least a few times before that happens. Anyway, we're going to learn about suffixes. So suffixes are some letters or word endings that we add to the end of a word. That's why they're called word endings. But they're added to the end of the word, and they create a new word, and that new word has a slightly different definition than the first word. Okay? So, we're going to take a look and review some of the words that we've already looked at. We're going to review what they mean, and we're going to practice using them in sentences. All right? So, the first suffix we're going to focus on is full. Full. This one is a really easy one to remember because the definition is full or full of. And that's exactly what that word sounds like, right? It's full. So if there's a word that has full at the end of it, you know that it means full of, and then whatever the root word is. All right? Then less, if you have less at the end of the word, that means without. Okay? So if you have a word that has less at the end, it means without that root word. All right, let's look at some examples. So right here we have graceful, graceful. That means full of grace, right? It's full of grace. So you can describe the way someone dances as graceful if they are just like, very smoothly dancing, very beautifully, not like messily dancing, but that could be called graceful. Or we also call God graceful because he is full of grace, right? He's full of grace for all of us. So you could even describe God like that. So we can say for graceful, our sentence could be, the ballerina's dancing was very graceful. You could use that as a sentence, all right? Then let's look over here for less. How about hopeless? Hopeless. Thankfully, we are not hopeless because God gives us hope. But hopeless means without hope. That's not how any of us want to be, without hope. But we'd rather be hopeful, right? We want to be full of hope. But we're looking at hopeless. So that means without hope. Without hope. So you can say that something that could be hopeless is maybe winning a game. If a baseball team is down by like 12 runs, it seems pretty hopeless that they're going to win, right? There isn't a lot of hope for that. So you can say the possibility of the baseball team winning the game was hopeless, or something like that, where it says it was hopeless to think that they would win the baseball game, right? There's no hope. It's without hope, totally. Okay? Makes sense. All right, let's look over here on full again. We have thankful. That's what we talked about in Bible today, being thankful. That's awesome. So thankful, that means full of thanks, right? Full of thanks. So let's use that in a sentence. If we're full of thanks, you can say, like we did in our Bible time today, you could say, I am thankful for, fill in the blank, my house, food, pets, whatever it is that you're thankful for. It means that you're full of thanks for that thing. That's pretty cool that worked out that today it was the word thankful. All right, now let's go back over to less. Harmless. Harmless. That means without harm. So something that can't harm you. Like you might say, the sweet puppy was harmless. The sweet puppy was harmless. It wasn't going to hurt you. Okay? So there's how we can use some of those words in a sentence. Now I forgot to go over root words. Remember, the root word is what the suffix is added onto. So right here we have full. Here's our suffix. So our root word is actually grace. Grace is our root word. So we know that this word has something to do with grace because that's the root word in it. But then the suffix changes the definition or shows us what the word actually means. And then same thing here with hopeless. Less right here, right? That is our suffix. So the part that is not a suffix is our root word, hope. Hope. So we know that the word hopeless has something to do with hope because that's the root word, that's the main word in it. And then less, the suffix less, shows us what the word really means. Okay? Kind of makes sense, right? All right, now I want you to take a couple minutes because we have two words here. We have one here and one here. And I want you to just take a second to, well, we'll read the words together, but then I want you to come up with a sentence on your own. You don't have to write a sentence down, but in your head, just come up with a sentence that works for these words. So we're going to look at them. I want you to, well, before you can even come up with a sentence, you got to know what it means, right? So I want you to look at the words. We'll read them together. Then come up with a definition. What could each of those words mean? And then you can try and figure out the root word. That will help you figure out what the word means. Then you're going to come up with a sentence. Now remember, it's not one you have to write down. You just have to say it to yourself. All right, so let's read this one first. Playful. Playful. All right. What could playful mean? Think about that. What could playful mean? What's our root word? And come up with a sentence. Now, you may not have come up with your sentence yet, and that's okay. I'm just going to read the next one too, and then you can take the time to do your sentences for both of these. All right, this is clueless. Clueless. All right. Think about what the root word is and what the suffix is and what each of those mean to find the definition and then come up with a sentence. You guys are really creative, so I bet you came up with some pretty awesome sentences. If you didn't finish it yet, that's okay. Just wait until the video's done, and then you can go ahead and finish coming up with those sentences. So today you're going to do a worksheet as well on this, where you're going to be adding suffixes to the ends of words and looking at what they mean. All right, boys and girls, you've been doing a great job on this last week, so I think you'll do a great job on this review as well. Remember, come up with sentences for playful and clueless and tell them to someone. All right, good job, boys and girls.